Welcome to the E-Commerce Alley podcast, where we believe that great brands are built on passionate leadership, smart operations, and of course, powerful marketing. I am your host, Josh Coffey. And if you don't know me, I have been helping e-commerce brands generate more than $40 million in revenue through strategic marketing, coaching, and good humor. I think that's part of it. So if you're an e-commerce business leader, then this podcast is for you. And today we're going to be talking about a few things you could do to boost your website conversion rate. Let's do this. Thank you for listening into this. I want to just take a moment and say thank you. I've had an outpouring of amazing feedback and texts and DMs and emails, just so kind from people that have listened to this podcast. And it's been a long time coming. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here, for hanging out with me in this moment, because I love talking about things like this. I love talking about ways that you can improve your business and things that will make shifts and big impacts with small little tweaks that we can do here and there, which is why today I want to talk about something that I consider a high impact, low resource strategy, and that is conversion rate optimization. So conversion rate optimization, or in the marketing lingo world, we call it CRO, is simply the process of increasing the percentage of users or website visitors to take a desired action. So, for example, if you get 100 website visitors per month to your website with one person buying, then you have a 1% conversion rate. And if you make some changes, and you improve the conversion rate, or you do conversion rate optimization and you optimize to get a better conversion rate, and you get to 1.25 or 2%, then it'll start to impact your revenue. And instead of one purchase, you will get 1.5 to 2 orders. And so while that might not sound like a lot, it is when you start to mathematically run the numbers on it. You know, if you have 100 visitors and you have a 1% conversion and you make some small tweaks and you get to 2%, hey, you get 2 orders as a result of doing that. But what happens, and that may not be exciting, but what happens when you have 10,000 or 50 or 100,000 visitors per month? Well, that becomes very, very powerful. That's where we start to experience huge impact for small tweaks. Small resource can create huge impact. And actually, Archimedes has a great quote. He says, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." And I view conversion rate optimization very, very similarly. Meaning, if you can make some small adjustments, and you'll be able to make big shifts in revenue with small pieces. So we would have a fulcrum and a very long lever that would move our revenue very substantially with small adjustments. And so if you were getting 100,000 visitors, if you were looking at it from that standpoint, you got 1,000 orders a month. I mean, just bumping to a 1.5% adds 500 orders per month. But the thing is, your ad spend would be the same. Your traffic would be the same. The only difference is whatever the change was that you made. And oftentimes it doesn't take that long to do. In fact, of the things that I'm going to walk through today, I'm going to walk through 7 ways that you can boost your website conversion rate. I'm walking through 7. And of them, majority of them you could do in less than 15 minutes. Some might take a little bit longer, depending on how involved you get into it. But a lot of these are very, very quick. But you have to test them often. You have to do them and actually put the time into get the tool or do the thing that I'm going to recommend. And so that said, let's go ahead. Let's dive right in. Get your notepads. And if you're driving, well, just try to remember, because you shouldn't have a notepad. You're driving. Number 1. The first thing you can do to improve conversion rate and average order value. This is a twofer. This is like 2 things in one. And that is to allow bundles. So you can pre-build bundles, or you can allow people to bundle their own products. And so when you allow people to bundle, you usually will add a discount from the bundling. Or if you have pre-built bundles, you'll add a discount. Or if you do volume discounting, like let's say I was selling supplements, And if you bought one bottle, it would be $19.99. But then right below that, if I saw the option, hey, if I buy 2, I save 10%. If I buy 3, I save 15%, etc., then you'll actually, surprisingly, you will get more conversions by offering people more stuff. It's a really interesting concept, but when you actually give people more options and they see that they get a discount or they get a deal by taking you up on those options, your overall conversion rate, we have seen in our experience, goes up. It's really, when you offer them more, it goes up. But guess what? You also make more. That's why it's two and one. You get more conversions and they spend more with you as a result of doing this. And so there are tools that you can use that take, I'm not even kidding, 15 minutes to set up and install. One tool, if you're using Shopify, that we always recommend and we really love, it's called Bundle Bear. Go to the Shopify Marketplace, search Bundle Bear if you use WooCommerce. There's another tool called Product Bundles, but essentially it's gonna allow you to showcase on your product pages that people can bundle multiple of that product, they can bundle other products, and there's a lot of different ways you can choose the different templates and how it shows it, and you will increase your AOV and you will also improve your conversion rate. I'll give you a story. We had a client that one of their challenges was they were only selling one of their product, and people would come and they would buy one and they would check out. But guess what? When we added the ability to buy 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we offered different levels of discount with it, and we had a mix and match bundling option. Over a span of 2 months, they added over $12,000 in bundled revenue from people that took additional bundles because they did that, and their conversion rate almost doubled as a result from paid ads as a result of offering bundling capability. So that's number one. Allow bundles. You can pre-build your own, or you can allow people to mix and match their own products. Now, the second thing you can do to increase your conversion rate is to test different shipping thresholds. So shipping is a very interesting topic because most people view free shipping as absorbing the cost of shipping, which to a degree it is. That's exactly what it is. So we're absorbing the cost of shipping. However, we also have to realize that by charging for shipping, we're losing that a lot of that margin. We're losing some of that in advertising costs because advertising costs, the conversion rate goes down, and so advertising becomes more expensive to acquire the customer. And so what I advise and what my recommendation is that you test different types of shipping thresholds. So if you've never done free, try free. If you're at 49 or you're at 99, try a different threshold, because what happens is as shipping thresholds go down very naturally, conversion will go up. And sometimes based on your volume of website, because you have to take that into consideration, the website traffic volume, by making that shift, like let's say you're at $99 and you dropped it to a $49 threshold, but it increased your conversion rate by a whole 1% because of that, because people didn't have to buy many products. They had to buy 2 products in order to qualify for free shipping. Well, if you were getting 20,000 visitors or 10,000 visitors a month, that just added an additional 100 orders to your monthly amount. And so then you'd run those numbers and say, hey, does it make sense? Because I would have been paying shipping here. And so test different shipping thresholds. And I'll tell you, we had a client that was charging $75 for the shipping threshold. The $75 shipping threshold, it required on average, now they had different product prices, but on average, it took about 3 products for somebody to qualify for free shipping. When we lowered it to 49, we tested for 2 weeks. We said, okay, we're gonna lower it from 75 to 49. That only required 2 products, but even by adding that second product, their cost for shipping was about the same. It was about the same. But by doing that, their conversion rate almost doubled. I mean, it literally almost doubled just by simply lowering the cost of shipping. And so by doing that, the conversion rate doubled, which then made our ads more profitable. We got to acquire customers for cheaper. Yes, we ate up some of the shipping cost because more people were doing it over the $49 threshold, but our conversion rate went up. And overall, at the very end of the day, we made a lot more money by lowering the shipping threshold. So play around with shipping thresholds. And I like to always ask does it pass the fool factor? And the fool factor simply says, would somebody say I'd be a fool not to add this additional thing if it got me free shipping? So that's the threshold. You don't want to have $10 products and have a $100 shipping threshold, because people would have to buy a minimum of 10 to 11 of those in order to qualify. And at a certain point, people just won't. They'll just say, hey, I only need 2 of these. I don't need to buy a year's supply of these. And so I'm just not going to buy, because people are so turned off by being charged for shipping because they're so used to free shipping from Amazon Prime. And it's such a common thing right now. And so that's something that we want to consider. And another thing, Stitch Fix. If you've never heard of Stitch Fix, I'm wearing Stitch Fix right now. It's fantastic. They ship me a box of 5 clothing items, and then a prepaid shipping bag that I can then send everything back in that I don't want. But with Stitch Fix, what's interesting is if you keep everything, you get 25% off. So if you only like 3 to 4 items, I would be a fool to send back 2 of those, because at that point it would have only cost me $15 more to keep those 2 additional items instead of shipping them back. And so they passed the fool factor. They said, okay, what do we have to do to make it so people would feel foolish to not take us up on this offer? And so very, very smart. And I will tell you, I keep a majority of things. Even though I don't like everything, it just makes more sense to me. And so consider your different shipping thresholds. If you're not free, hey, try free. You don't have to do it permanently. Do it for a month. Do it for a week. Do a promotion for 72 hours. Test it. See what happens to your conversion. Now, the third thing is have 10 or more reviews on core products that you're advertising to. So any product pages that you're trying to push your ads to for purchases, have reviews on them. Reviews make a substantial difference in the actual conversion rate of the people that go and land on your website. Substantial difference. And so once you've identified the products that will be profitable and the products that you can really lean into scalable wise, then you need to make sure that those products are optimized. And part of that is going to the product page and making sure that you're getting reviews on those. I don't care if you have to manually reach out to 20 people that purchased in the last month or 2 and say, hey, would you mind doing this? And we're doing a gift card drawing for $100 to Amazon for 2 people or 1 person. It doesn't matter. Get the reviews, because what's going to happen is those reviews will pay dividends, because you're going to get a higher conversion rate of people that are landing on that page. So if you have products, make sure that you have a process for getting reviews on the products that you're advertising. And if you don't have any on that right now, go get friends, family to try your products and get those reviews. And we've learned 10 or more is the credibility threshold. When you have 10 or more, you start to look more credible. Now, when you start to climb to the hundreds and thousands of reviews, then you remove that doubt of if your product is good. So if you're just starting and you don't have 10, 20, 30, or 100 and something reviews beyond that on a single product that you're advertising, really make sure that you get those. Because in my opinion, this is the bare minimum. Getting reviews on those products is the bare minimum if you're going to be advertising those products. Get some people to leave reviews. It'll impact your conversion rate. And the tool that we recommend for this is stamped.io. Stamped.io. They help get reviews. They have a fantastic process for it. So if you don't have that in place, at least go check out stamped.io. Highly, highly recommend it. But if you're enjoying this, whether you're on YouTube or you're listening on a podcast app, please subscribe. YouTube, you get to watch everything. We release videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then if you're listening on the podcast app, please leave us a review. We would love a review on the podcast app you're listening to, or go to alleypodcast.com/YouTube and to subscribe on YouTube, which I assume most people are on, or I hope at least. So moving on to number four, let's highlight our current offers in banners. Make sure that all the campaigns that you're running right now, the offers that you're running right now, are telling a parallel story. So if you have banners above at the very, very top of your website, that's what we call a banner, and you can have a sticky banner or just or a static one. And so banners need to tell the same story of what you're pushing right now. Do you offer free shipping? Do you have easy returns? Is there a weekend deal? Is it timely? Is there a flash sale going on? Is there a holiday event going on right now with an offer? And so we want to use banners to tell the same story, because you might be sending emails to your list. Like, let's say, for example, You're in a holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend, or I don't know, wherever you're listening or watching from, but let's say you're in a 3-day holiday weekend, and so you're running a 72-hour sale. Well, just because you're emailing your list about that sale doesn't mean that everybody else knows about it. And all the traffic on your website is probably not only coming from your email. So it's very important that if you have a sale that you're promoting to your list or even on ads, emphasize that again. Keep that parallel story. In the advertising world, we call it the ad scent. You want the scent from the ad to trail. So if you're talking about free shipping or you're talking about a 72-hour in the ads that you're running, you want your copy to match the story. You want your creative to match your story, the landing page and the website to match the story. And banners are a great way to add to that. And the other benefit of having banners during these offers or during these moments is that if you're running ads and you're running email, it's going to reinforce it, because when people click on your email, like let's say that you're running a Valentine's Day sale and you have a special coupon code and they click on your email, they probably not remember what the actual code was. So if it was just said in the banner, it makes their life a lot easier. And just from a really practical standpoint that's kind of annoying is, if you're in your phone browser, or I'm sorry, if you're in your email tool, like let's say use Gmail on your phone, and you click on a link and it opens within the Gmail browser and doesn't open up another browser, and then they have to go back to the Gmail browser to see it, but then suddenly it takes them away from the page that they were on. So make it easy. Add a banner, and that will improve your conversion, especially when you're running campaigns. Now, number five is, if you want to boost your conversion rate, this sounds kind of weird, but buy your own stuff. What I mean by that is go start on your homepage and walk through your website and walk through the process that a customer would go through. And then ask yourself, what would make me buy or stop me from buying? And this is very, very important, because as entrepreneurs, we know our products, we know our processes, we know everything about our brands, the problems they solve, the benefits, the shipping timelines, we know all of that. But oftentimes we forget that not everybody has that knowledge. And if our website process and the flow of everything doesn't reflect that very clearly, there's going to be drop off. And so when you do this, spend 15 minutes. Here's what I want you to do. Spend 15 minutes and go through your website and become your own customer. So when you land on the homepage, is it easy to figure out where to go? Does the navigation clearly show the different collections in a very streamlined way? Is there a call to action above the fold? Maybe the hero image is the promo that's happening right now. When you go to a product page, are there multiple product images of that product in the product page? Just show it in action. Are there reviews? We just talked about this. Are there reviews on the product page? Is the shipping and return information and how that works, is that all clear to understand? Because if it's not, and you can't even clearly see that, then your customers and potential customers definitely don't see that. And I'll tell you a story. We had a client in our Max Profits Mentorship program. And what we were finding was, with his ads, the average person was just simply buying one product. So they would go and they would buy one product, one candle. So they'd go and they'd buy one. And we were kind of stumped as to why. He came to me and he's like, hey, I don't know why we're running ads to this product page. We know this is one of our top performing products, has the margin, has targetability. We're running ads, getting tons of clicks. People are buying it, but they're only buying one. Most people are buying one. Like, why are most people buying one? We can't really figure it out. So I went to his website that night. I went to that product and I bought that product because I wanted to say, hey, what's the experience that customers are saying? Like, what's happening? Well, what ended up happening was, when I went to the product page, it looked good, had reviews, everything was checking the boxes for me. I'm like, this is great. I want to buy this. And I did. So I hit add to cart. And as soon as I hit add to cart, it brought me directly to the checkout page. So what that means is, it didn't keep me on the product page and allow me to continue shopping. And I had to find my way back to where I was and to go look at those different products, and had to hit the backspace. And so All we had to do was change that. You just have to change the settings so that when someone adds to the cart, it keeps them on that product page, and then it allows them to continue shopping. And they can go look at other products, or they could buy more of that product if they wanted to. And so that's the power of taking 15 minutes and going and buying your own products. Now, if you want to, then go on the back end and you can refund yourself, that's fine. But if you have a warehouse that is shipping out your products, then don't. Let the product get shipped to you. See what kind of emails you get. What is a checkout page? Is there an upsell? Because if there's not an upsell, you should consider adding one, because that'll boost your average order value. It's not your conversion rate, but that'll boost your average order value if you have upsells on the back end. And so go through your customer experience and say, hey, is it very clear to understand where I'm at, what actions I need to take in order to buy what I want to buy? And is there anything that is stopping that process or slowing and bottlenecking that process? And so buy your own stuff. Now, number 6 is to have more exit intent pop-ups. Now, most people have an exit intent pop-up. And what that means is if somebody goes to exit your website, a pop-up jumps in their face and it says, hey, don't forget to subscribe and take an extra 10% off your first order. That's a pretty standard exit intent pop-up because they had the intent to exit, and the pop-up pops up on the screen once their mouse leaves the browser window just to try to pull them back in. And so what I'm encouraging you to do is not only have that one on your main pages, but have more, and have more intentional ones. Meaning, rather than having them on your standard homepage, product collection pages, etc., have them on your cart and your checkout pages. For example, when somebody adds enough products to their cart to qualify for free shipping, if let's say you had a $49 shipping threshold and they had $62 in products, well, technically they would qualify. So if someone has that in their cart and they're in their cart, but then they go to exit, have a pop-up that reminds them that they qualify for free shipping. And another idea is if somebody is about to abandon their cart, you can have a pop-up that jumps up and says, hey, save your cart. Don't forget to save your cart. So rather than a discount, that'll be on the regular pages, but when they're in the actual cart and they go to exit the cart, have a pop-up that says, hey, enter your email to save the cart, so that way you can enroll them in your cart abandonment email series. If someone's in their cart as well, you could have an exit intent pop-up that is a specific cart abandonment deal. So while your whole website might have 10% off, if they're in their cart, it means they've added something. They are way closer to buying than somebody who is just viewing the website and never added a product. And so because of that, rather than giving them, let's say, a 10% off, I might say, hey, take an extra 20% off your first order, just so we can help get the customer. And so number 6 is to have more exit intent pop-ups, meaning be more intentional. Don't just have a generalized one that goes everywhere. Have one for primary pages, but then also have ones that are only on pages like your checkout and your cart page. And there are different tools that you can use for these, like Sleek Note is one of them. Sleek Note, we really like. It'll allow you to pop up and even say how much they have left in order to qualify for free shipping and a lot more. So you can check out Sleek Note. Highly recommend that as a tool. And the final one we have here, final way that will boost your website conversion rate, number 7, is to spend more time on your product page copywriting. So this is a lot to dive into in just this episode. I'm not going to dive deep into copywriting frameworks and how important copywriting is and how to do it. But you need to spend more time on your product page copywriting, because if you're running ads, you're likely running to a product page or product pages or maybe a collection. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that those product pages have good copy, and then we really spend time honing in on the page copy for those particular products, especially if they're high volume products or they're products that you're running ads to. So for example, so many brands, so many product pages I see, they speak to the features. They speak to what the product is and all the great things about the product. And that's good. It doesn't mean you shouldn't showcase those things. I mean, if you're buying a 240 volt whatever, you want to know that it's 200. Those are like specifications. We really want to make sure that we have that. But better than that is we want to speak to the benefits. We want to speak more to the problems that our products solve, or to the feelings that people will have when they buy our products, and using imagery and words that will really bring that out. And a great example about this A great example of this is back in the day. I remember when I was in high school. And in high school, middle school is when it was. In middle school, MP3 players became this thing, and everyone wanted an MP3 player to plug their headphones in and listen to their own music. And I remember there's this company called Zune. And Zune, you may have heard of it, maybe you haven't, but it was like this boxy MP3 player, and it was like one of the ones just starting to take the market. Like they were really, really growing as a brand. In Zune, a lot of my family had it. I never did, but they always had it, and I always looked at them like, oh, those are so cool, and that one's 16 gigabytes, that one's 4 gigabytes, and they would always say how many gigabytes they were. That was their selling point. Oh, this Zune is 16 or 32 or 2 gigabytes. It's crazy to think that people had 2 gigs. I mean, no, that's nothing. That's like a video. And so they were selling people on the features. They were selling them on what it was. Hey, 16 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes. But then this little company called Apple came along, and they were out of the market for 2 years. They didn't enter the MP3 market for 2 years. MP3s were out for 2 years. Zune has taken this market by storm, tens of millions of dollars in revenue, really, really taking it. Other ones are popping up everywhere. Apple came out and they said, here's 1,000 songs in your pocket. And that destroyed every MP3 player company you've never heard of at this point. Apple came out, their messaging and their copy, their messaging destroyed everything else because they came out with how it benefits the customer. Because people don't care about your product. They care about themselves. They care about what your product helps them accomplish. Nobody knew what 16 gigabytes meant, but Apple knew that means 1,000 songs in your pocket. And so messaging and copywriting is incredibly important. And so taking the time to identify your ideal customers' fears, their challenges, their questions, their desires, and then tailoring your copy even on your product pages to address those things is what's going to yield massive, massive dividends. And it's going to improve your conversion rate more than any small thing. Like a lot of people want to just change the color of their call to action button. And instead of saying add to cart, I'm going to make it say add to bag. And they go and make all these small little adjustments. And the reality is those small changes make small differences, and big changes make big differences. So changing small things are not going to have a big impact on your conversion rate. Making big changes like copywriting, for example, is one of those things that you're not going to do it in 15 minutes or 30 minutes. It might take you a couple hours to really write some good copy for your product page, and spend time learning how to write good copy. Read a book. There's a book called Copywriting Secrets, and it's by Jim Howard, and it's Jim Edward. Incredible book. It'll take you 2 hours to read, and it'll transform your entire experience and results as a business owner who writes some copy from ads to email to social to your product pages. And so invest and spend more time in your product page copywriting, and that will improve your conversion more than anything else that I have talked about today. So I kind of saved that for last because that is a big one. So thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for listening to me right now. I appreciate it. And if you haven't, just as a reminder, if you haven't joined the E-commerce Alley group, you have to go join it. It's free. We do weekly trainings. We have templates in there. We have community in there. It's incredible of other e-commerce business owners. And so if you want to join the E-commerce Alley free Facebook group, go to alleypodcast.com/group, and it will send you right to the place that you need to go. So to recap, 7 things that will help you increase your website conversion rate. Number 1, allow bundles. And this will do 2 things. It improves your conversion rate, but it will also increase your average order value. The second thing is to test different shipping thresholds to see what improves your conversion rate, and overall, the numbers become more profitable. We have to look at that as well. Number 3, have 10 or more reviews on product pages that you're advertising. Number 4, highlight current offers within your banner so you tell a parallel story between your ads and your email. Everything is telling that parallel story, including your website. Number 5, buy your own stuff. Go through the process like a customer would. Number 6, have more exit intent pop-ups in your cart and your checkout. And then number 7, spend more time on your product page copywriting. And if you do all of those, you will undoubtedly increase your conversion rate. So, you, my friend, have been listening to the E-commerce Alley podcast, produced by the legendary man, myth, and legend. That sounds redundant, But it's Dylan Counts who makes all this stuff happen. You can find the show notes for this episode as well as other resources by going to alleypodcast.com. And don't forget, join the Facebook group. It's free at alleypodcast.com/group. And on behalf of the entire team here at the E-Commerce Alley, we want to say thank you for being our listener. Thank you for changing the world and making the world a better place with your business and your products. We will see you next time.